I'm Hanna Birna Kristjánsdóttir, the chair of the executive board of WPL. I'm happy to be with you again. While we make some changes on stage, I just want to again thank all of those that touched for the Women's World Atlas. Especially I would like to thank our partners here in Iceland, Capacent. Thorey is rushing out. She was the one assisting us with this. And then Oxford Analytica, thank you so much. It's a great measure, and for us to be able to see it like this, when it's constantly being excused, that we don't reach our goals, for example, because of education, it's good to see the difference with the world map when we look at the education versus what we have reached. So thank you all for that. Now we move into a special session for today. It's Power Together Women Leaders Awards. When we decided with our co-hosts that we wanted to make this event happen in Iceland every year, we wanted to be around power together. We were absolutely certain that we wanted to make sure that we would acknowledge those that have been doing power together in real terms and have been taking actions together, doing precisely what we are talking about, making sure that we join forces, making sure that we set aside some of our differences and come together for the greater good. And we want here today to recognize those that have made great achievements, that have done something extraordinary, either with action or with words, or making sure that they are heard when it comes to doing things that can be of value for girls and women around the world. This we will do every year. That is, we will not make individual awards. We will make awards that go to a group of people that have done something extraordinary. Again, this is because we believe power together is the key, and in recognizing that, us, the co-hosts of this event, meaning women political leaders, the government of Iceland and the Parliament of Iceland, we want to make sure that we recognize outstanding initiatives where people join forces for the great change. And I'm going to try and coordinate this so that it will be clear how we're doing it. The ones that are receiving the awards for this year are a group of people that have done something extraordinary, and those that will present the awards will tell you something more about that. But it's the International Olympic Committee, number one. Give them a huge round of applause. And number two, there is an initiative we all know and all care deeply for, of course. It's the Me Too movement. Give them a round of applause as well. And then the third is the African Women Leadership Network. Give them also, please, a great round of applause. So first here, to give the awards and to present the awards to the International Olympic Committee, again, let me welcome on stage my good friend, the president of WPL, Silvana Koch-Merin. The floor is yours, dear.
Thank you. Thank you, Hanna.
You're supposed to be on the middle.
I'm supposed to be in the middle. Oh my God, this is so super professionally complicated choreography. We're very, very honored to attribute the first Power Together Award to the International Olympic Committee because it has taken a very, very ambitious policy and will put this into action in order to recognize women athletes in the same way as male athletes are recognized, and also to close the gender pay gap in sports, which of course, as we all know, is still enormous. And we want to encourage that journey by this award, by recognizing this ambition and these bold policy decisions taken. But let's first have a look at a video. Can I please ask on stage Marisol Casado, who is member of the Executive Committee of the International Olympic Committee and who is the driver and true powerhouse behind that initiative.
Thank you very much. I would like to express all my thanks to the Women Leaders Global Forum for presenting the Power Together Award to the International Olympic Committee. It is a wonderful recognition for the gender equality initiatives of the International Olympic Committee. And so it is with much gratefulness and appreciation that I accept this award on behalf of everyone at the International Olympic Committee. Let me convey the sincere thanks and gratitude from International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach, whom I have the privilege to represent today. As International Olympic Committee President and he/she champion, his leadership has been crucial to make gender equality and empowerment of women in sport a priority for the organization and the entire Olympic movement. As the only female president of a Summer International Federation, I know firsthand how difficult it is to make progress on your own. This is why this award means so much to me. It is a recognition that we can only make progress by standing together and working towards a shared goal. And progress is happening. On the field of play, the recent Youth Olympic Games Buenos Aires 2018 was the first Olympic competition with complete gender equity. At the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, we will effectively achieve gender balance with the highest ever female athlete representation at close to 49%. Thanks to the International Olympic Committee Gender Equality Review Project, we are accelerating this change also off the field of play. Our stakeholders are implementing its recommendation and are keen to work towards closing the gender gap. This award gives all of us even more motivation to make gender equality in sport a reality.
Thank you so much. Our thanks, and I would ask the two of them to please stand on stage because we will try for a group photo when we move on. I would next like to call on stage Steingrímur J. Sigfússon, one of the co-hosts of this event on behalf of the Parliament of Iceland. He is the Speaker of Alþingi. That is the Icelandic name for Parliament of Iceland. So here he is to sort of make sure that the awards get into the right hand. So please, Steingrímur.
Well, hello again, or once more. Nice to see you all. Good afternoon. More than a decade ago, Tarana Burke created the Me Too campaign as a movement to reach sexual assault survivors in underprivileged communities. Now, 12 years later, the movement became a powerful global phenomenon. The hashtag #MeToo became a rallying cry against sexual assaults and harassment. These two little words have sparked conversations that have spread across the globe and into every walk of life. This is a movement by women, for women, and gave the strength to many victims of sexual harassment to finally share their stories and reveal what they have endured and lived with in silence. So now we will have a video message from Tarana Burke, the founder of the Me Too movement, who started all of this.
Hi, my name is Tarana Burke, and I'm the founder of the Me Too movement. We founded Me Too over a decade ago to support young women of color in the community we live who were survivors of sexual violence. In the years since we started, we've expanded to support adults and people across the gender spectrum who have been holding the trauma of sexual violence for many, many years. Now, since the expansion or explosion of Me Too in 2017, we have a unique opportunity to expand our platform and continue a national conversation around sexual violence in this country and countries around the world. But we want to be clear about what the Me Too movement is about. There's lots of conversation about it being about taking down powerful men or about targeting people, and it's not about any of those things. This is a movement about giving people access to a healing journey, to make sure the most marginalized amongst us have an opportunity to start a pathway to healing from the trauma of sexual violence. It's also a movement about radical community healing. We believe that communities have to come together to make them safe and to protect the most vulnerable people from sexual violence. We do this through two ideas. One is called empowerment through empathy. We believe in the power of empathy to support people. When two people exchange the words Me Too, it is literally an exchange of empathy between people that says, I hear you, I see you, and I believe you. Once people have that, it gives them permission to start a healing journey. And that's what we're about. The other idea is radical community healing. And that means that in all the ways that sexual violence is allowed to flourish in our communities, we want to work against that. Ultimately, this is a movement about eradicating sexual violence. We want to teach people how to lean into their joy so that they can move away from the trauma. And we want to teach people that we can, as a collective, interrupt sexual violence wherever it lives. And we want to do that together. We need everybody doing all the work they can in all the ways they can to interrupt sexual violence. And we invite you to join us.
And now it's my pleasure to call on stage Angelique Kelly, who is the chair of Women of Multicultural Ethnicity Network, to receive the award on behalf of Me Too.
Join the other two over there. Thank you so much. Thanks, Steingrímur, and thanks to the Me Too movement and to this encouraging message we just heard. We all know that Me Too has literally, I think, changed the world for many women around the world, and of course men as well. So we're pleased and honored, of course, to make sure that they are awarded in such a way. But for the third award, which we had already told you about, we are also really proud of that because there are networks, initiatives around the world that have made distinctive change for women in certain places. And this is the one we have seen and looked at for a long time. It has made a great difference in the time that they have been doing this. It is my great honor to announce that the African Women Leaders Network is, of course, one of those recipients here today. And let me call on stage Giovanni Piha. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much. I'm not here as a recipient, but I'm just going to say a few words to introduce this incredible network. So we are talking technology.
We're talking about technology all the time.
Technology is failing me.
It's not only opportunities, but it's also threats. But you have it, please.
Yes, I have it. So I just want to say a few words about this amazing and incredible network. The African Women's Leadership Network It's a network that was first launched in June 2017. So the network, it's an initiative that is action-oriented, and I think what is important here is the fact that it is action-oriented. The objective of the network is to enhance the leadership of African women in bringing transformative changes that focus on peace, security, and development in the continent. So the network also aims to harness the wealth of African women's experience of leadership, build on existing and emerging networks of women leaders, as well as develop new partnerships to strengthen the capacity of women, and all this in the context of Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development Goals, and in the context of Agenda 2063, which is an Africa agenda, the Africa we want. As you heard earlier from Madame Bintou, she also shared earlier the number of initiatives in terms of the missions that they have organized in solidarity and going to learn what's going on in those areas where war is going on, and there is a lot of problems in terms of gender-based violence. So it is therefore my honor to, may I invite?
Please. Yes, please.
5 distinguished women who are part of this network.
I think we want to do the video first, if that's okay.
Thank you.
By bringing together women's leaders from politics and the public sector, women living in rural areas, young women leaders from civil society and the private sector, the AWLN will ensure that African women leaders are directly involved in building more peaceful and stable societies.
We also encourage women to be in solidarity with each other. We make visits to countries where women are facing the biggest challenges because of conflict, because of climate and other reasons.
Quand on donne à la femme, elle donne à tout le monde. Elle sait, si on donne 10 graines de riz, elle sait comment les partager pour que tout le monde puisse manger. C'est ainsi que nous avions senti ce besoin de pouvoir venir rejoindre ces réseaux pour faire changer les choses. Et heureusement, l'Union africaine, l'ONU Femmes et l'Allemagne nous ont aidés à pouvoir pousser très vite.
Please, call on stage, these 5.
Yes, it's my honor and privilege to call upon Her Excellency Jewel Taylor. She's here. Her Excellency Donatil Mukabarisa. Madame Bineta Diop. Madame Zainab Bangura. Her Excellency Rebecca Kadaga. And Madame Awa Iyaisek.
So if we first hand out the awards, and then I will, of course, suggest that we hear some remarks from these remarkable women that are here on stage with us. So please, if we have the awards. And if it's fine with the audiences, which I'm sure, I would really be proud and honored if you would all say something, as I know you're filled with knowledge and information and some encouragement that you can give to our women in the audience.
The African Women's Network is privileged to have received this honor this afternoon. It is an impetus for us to continue to work because there is indeed much, much more that needs to be done. And we want to thank you and the Women's Political Network and all of our sponsors here this evening for giving us this opportunity to showcase African women that are moving things and doing what they can in their spheres of life. We look forward to many, many more as we come back next year. Thank you.
I would like to once again express my heartfelt appreciation to the women political leaders for having awarded the African Women Leaders Network, among other initiatives. As a member of the African Women Leaders Network, I must say that our clear vision, our dedication and determination to work together, our commitment to continue sharing experience to ensure a bright future for our societies will have a positive impact on the advancement of our continent. As women leaders of influence, let's continue building confidence in our young girls and demystify stereotypes that hinder the socio-economic transformation of our countries and our continent. Let's put our effort together, keep the momentum, and build strong and strategic partnerships to make gender equality and women's and girls' empowerment in all sectors a business of all of us. Thank you very much.
As women of Africa, we hope to redefine politics from power, control, war, corruption, arrogance, to what we bring into politics, our best qualities and strength: empathy, nurturing, compassion, building bridges, safe and healthy societies. It is only by so doing we stand a chance to transform our communities, societies, and countries in Africa into a peaceful, secure, and prosperous continent. We have seen and witnessed this in Liberia, with Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf elected as the first African female president. We saw what she's brought into it. Thank you.
On behalf of the Africa Women Leaders Network, I want to thank the Global Forum for recognition of this young network, and to say that we feel more energized to carry forward the torch of the African women. The African women were very much a part of the start of the OAU, but in the process they were forgotten. But now there's an opportunity for the women to build the human resource of Africa, starting with our children, starting with the business, to ensure that we are both at the table, but we're also there with means, and that we bring children forward who are capable of running the continent. But more importantly, we are energized now to work harder on the issue of FGM, which is a problem on the African continent. All these we are going to do. Thank you so much for the recognition. We are more energized now.
On behalf of Dr. Pumzile Mlambo-Nguka, who would have loved to be here, I'm happy to join the African Union and to say thank you to WPL for recognizing the work of the African women to build this network. We've tried as African women to build the women's movement. It has been a challenge. Whenever the women's movement gets strong, we have our brothers who come and help us just dislocate it. So here is an attempt to go from top down to build the women's network. It was launched, it is living, and this recognition will make it just strong, grow stronger. So we're proud to be part of this ceremony, and we will be proud to go back and tell women in the countries where we are that they have been recognized, and thank you to WPL for making this happen. And thank you to Germany for trusting this network from the beginning.
Thank you very much. I first of all want to express the African Union and the women of the network, express our gratitude to the government and the people of Iceland, namely the President, the Prime Minister, the Parliament. We are very grateful. But let me just say these two women, my two friends, Silvana and Anna. When you came to Africa in our big hall, the Mandela Hall, and you celebrate us, it's not today. You have given to Madame Zuma, the first female who was the chair of the African Union, the award in Kigali. And we were grateful because you have that solidarity with you, and that's why we are here today, the African Women Leaders Network, you and Anna, in solidarity with the women of Africa. Let me just say that one thing. I met today the First Lady of Iceland, who spent 2 nights in my village in Senegal some years back. I never imagined that a young woman of Iceland can visit Senegal and go to remote area. My village is called Geul. And she told me, are you from Geul? I read it. I said, Geul? Where do you know Geul? I was there because I spent 2 nights on my way to Saint Louis in your village. Very well welcome. And this is what we have seen here. You welcome us so much. I was touched. I was very touched, and this is what we are feeling today. You know, the AWLN is about bringing women. I call it the movement, the women's movement in Africa for a transformative change. From peace table to political leadership, but also to the boardroom. And if we have today the UN and the AU to support those and our African leaders of the continent, is to make sure that we transform our continent. So this award is about us, and you will allow me to call those founding members of AWLIN in this room. Join us, it's not just 6 of us. Please come and be with us in this. I have to do the protocol because some of us have been with us many times. So this award is not about us here. It's about the grassroots women that you have seen in the film. Those who are working very hard, those who are really fighting on their daily life, those who are in peace, in conflict, in war, but those who are also making sure that Africa transforms. That's why I think that this award will go to my sister who have been there, Amina Mohammed, you have seen her, Pumzile, all the women of AU, the commissioner, but I will give it also to the chair of the African Union, who is a champion of he for she, Kagame, but also Musa Faki Muhammad, who is the one that are championing this network. So I just wanted to say thank you, both of you, Silvana and Anna. But this network just started 2 years ago, but we have been building fund, we are being in the missions, and we are supporting political women in their participation in those fairs. So thank you also the ECA, because ECA is in charge of the banking and the investment of the Africa Women Leadership Fund. So thank you, Madam Vice President. Thank you, Madam the Parliament, Chair of the Parliament, Rebecca, Uganda, and the UN, and our next President, you, Zay.